So a big welcome to you all. I'm Sarah Harford and I'll be delivering this today. So I want to have a look at a few things that are related to deaf and deaf awareness. So we'll look at deaf awareness, we'll look at lip reading skills, we'll look at British Sign Language, and we'll have a look at some useful signs. I'll teach you a few signs that might be handy. Okay, so first of all, we'll have a look at a sign. How are you? So, flat hands on the chest that go to there. How are you? And you would respond, good. Or, all right. So, deaf people, very visual. Obviously there's no sound coming in, so it's a visual language and everything is done on sight. So if you want to say yes and no, literally, or right, deaf awareness, okay. So, 1 in 5 people in the UK population has got some degree of deafness or hearing loss. 1 in 5, that's quite a significant part of our population. So the word deaf can mean different things, okay? So I've put 4 on here. We've got deaf and deaf. Now there is a difference. This has got a capital D, deaf with a capital D, deaf with a small d. So deaf with a capital D usually does equate to deaf people who are part of the deaf community. They often use sign language as part of that culture. They're a minority linguistic and cultural group. Okay? They're proud to be part of a shared linguistic and cultural community and identity. Deafness is an identity, it's a cultural thing. That's deaf with a capital D. Deaf with a small d refers to somebody who can't hear. It's physiological, biologically, they can't hear. It doesn't mean they're part of a community or part of the deaf culture, anything like that. There is a difference. Deafened. So if you're deafened, it means you lose your hearing. Often later in life, as we age, we all lose our hearing. It may be sudden or it may be gradual. And the other one I've put here is hard of hearing, HOH. And that's often mild hearing loss that is attributed to older people, the ageing process. Sometimes it does also refer to deaf people who still think of themselves as part of the hearing community, hearing culture. So they may just say, I'm hard of hearing. Some more statements for you, a little bit of myth busting. So all deaf people are not the same. They don't have the same experience. They don't have, people are not either deaf or hearing. There's different degrees as well. So we've got mild, moderate, severe and profound. Profoundly deaf is fully deaf, can't hear anything, and obviously the stages before. Some people do have some hearing, but it may not be enough to participate and fully participate in a spoken conversation, so they may prefer to use sign language and align with the deaf community. But not all deaf people sign. Some deaf people don't use sign language. So when you meet a deaf person, you may need to use some strategies that will really help to aid communication. Oh, I should have taken this bit out. Here's some. So, eye contact, very important. Clear speech, so lip reading can be done easily. You can learn to sign, learn British Sign Language. You can use gesture. You can use your facial expressions as well, they can give a lot. And you can also use pen and paper, write things down. You may possibly meet someone. I would have loved to have known how many people know deaf people or don't, or have anything to do with the deaf community. But if you do meet someone, there are things that you can do and it will make a massive difference And I'm going to go through some of those now. So if you want to get someone's attention and they can't hear, you could gentle tap on the shoulder. That is appropriate in deaf culture. Just a gentle, not a hit, a gentle tap. Or you can wave. Try and get their attention that way. Important, if you've got a window behind you, the light will come in and you will be dark. So they won't be deaf people won't be able to see your lips or see your face and your gestures, all that. So it's really important, if you can, just move so you haven't got a window behind you. Again, light is very, very important. Deaf people who haven't got full hearing rely very much on lip reading, so they need to see your face and see your emotions, okay? Don't shout. It's easy to do, shout at the deaf person, but if they can't hear, it makes no difference. If they've got some hearing, it may hurt, and your face looks angry when you shout, which isn't a good thing. Also, basic, try not to turn around as you're talking, because the person's going to be concentrating on your face. Stand still. It's difficult if you're moving about and someone's trying to, As well, really important to just speak at a normal pace, how you would normally speak, your normal tone, your normal, speak at your normal rate and your normal tone, and that will help. Some people do, okay, let me no, just speak normally. Don't cover your mouth. Again, important, they need to see. Bit of personal space as well. I mean, currently, everyone's very aware of keeping a distance, social distance, but don't stand too close to a person, don't get in their face. You still need a bit of room. Okay, we'll skip this bit. But if you do have any questions or anything you think of as we're going along, please do jot them down and I can answer them. Hopefully we will get an opportunity to just do a Q&A or something. Okay. Just to finish this part, I'm going to have a think about lip reading. Okay, so lip reading, is it a problem? So deaf people do use lip reading as part of communication, but lip reading is not a good way to communicate at all. It's not effective. They estimate that lip readers will only get about 30% of what they're seeing. That means they're not getting up to 70% of it. A lot of it is relying on knowledge about what you're talking about, filling in the gaps, but it's very, very difficult. It's not as, a lot of people think, oh, a deaf person's been lip reading all their life, they must be fantastic, it must be easy. It's exhausting and it's difficult. Okay, so we're going to do a little task now. So if you've got a bit of pen and paper handy, pause if you haven't and get one. I'm going to say 10 words. I'm not going to use my voice. I want you to rely on lip reading. So I want you to try and lip read what I'm saying. Okay. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. And number 10. Here's the answers. How did you do? It's not easy, is it? Okay. So, in this part, I want to have a look at British Sign Language. It is the language of the deaf. It's a visual language. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it is and what it isn't. Okay? So British Sign Language is a full language. It has lexicon, grammar, syntax, all the things that a language needs. It is a full and whole language. It's the same as any other language. Difference being, sign language uses a visual channel, spoken languages uses an aural, A-U-R-A-L channel, goes in through the ears. It's the native language of deaf people. So deaf people, sign language, I mean, it's a beautiful language, it's so expressive, and it is the language that deaf people use. It's a visual language. It isn't international, so you don't have one sign language that's the same in every country. Every country has its own sign language. So we've got French Sign Language, Australian Sign Language, African, all sorts of sign languages. It is the same as any other language, different parts. So there is an international sign language that is used for diplomatic reasons, United Nations, international sports events, but it isn't a full language. It's kind of very gestural, and that is something separate. So British Sign Language uses the English language, but it isn't English spoken language. It's different. It's not a sign system. It's not a coded English. It's not a pidgin English. It's none of those things. It is a full, whole language with every complexity that any language has. So, we're going to learn to do some. So I thought we could start with the alphabet. Now, I'm going to show you as a right-handed person. If you are left-handed, it's exactly the same, but just the other way around. So, we'll start with the alphabet. So you start with the vowels. So the vowels are on one hand, okay? A, E, I, O and U, okay? And as I mention A, I'll put that one forward and point to it. E, I, O, U. These are your vowels. You point, okay? If you're left-handed, you do it this way. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. Okay, so alphabet. So you can do this at your leisure. You can stop and start or pause or anything. So A, as we've said, A, B, C, D, E, F, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Okay, and if you were left hand, you would do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Right-handed, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Y, like that, Y, Z. And I'll do that for the left-handed people. P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Y, Z. And that's the alphabet. So now, can you practice spelling your own name? You can pause, go back, have a look again. So, now that you've practiced doing your own, spelling your own name, let's have a look at how we put that into a sentence, okay? So firstly though, very important, British Sign Language is structured differently to spoken English, okay? It's a visual language, so there's words, that's English, that's a hearing, a spoken language, words, visual language, it's signs, it's visual, it's creating that picture, okay? So, in BSL we would say name me or name my, because name, two fingers, name. Name, and then you spell your own name. Now my sign name, I'll quickly tell you about sign names. So part of a cultural thing, deaf culture, is having a sign name, and it's given to you by a deaf person often, and it's linked to your personality, or there may be an element of you. So for example, if I had red hair, I may be called Sarah, or if I had curly hair, Sarah. It's always linked to something with you. If I was very smiley, it could be Sarah. So my sign name is Sarah, and that's a sign for Mary Poppins, because I have a bag that I am very organised and lots of things in my bag, and it was given to me by a deaf person. So my sign name is Sarah. So, name, okay. So if you want to ask someone else their name, so you would say your fist, your name, what? And they would answer your name, what? Okay, I'm going to just show you a couple more signs before we finish. So the sign for deaf, two fingers, deaf, deaf. And hearing, it's one finger from your ear to your chin. Hearing, hearing. Please and thank you. Here they've got thank you going to a thumb, thank you, but thank you, you can do please. So the way you know what you're saying is what you say with your lips, because it's the same sign. So and I think one more before we go, we should learn happy, sign, language, day. Happy, sign, language, day. Again, thank you for your time. I'm sorry we didn't get to do this online as was arranged. Any questions, please jot them down, and hopefully we will get the chance to get together and have a discussion as well. That'd be lovely. If you're interested in deaf culture, history, politics, anything like that, BSL Zone, have a look at that. It's subtitles, so you will be able to access it, but that it's got so much stuff on there about everything. If anything piques your interest, head there and have a look as well. Thank you so much. I hope that was helpful, and possibly see you soon. Thank you.